From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reported tonight, Amarachi Ubani.
Good evening and welcome tonight. Nasima paints a gloomy outlook for 2015, says Nigerians should expect what he calls a rough year. Nigeria's railway tracks busy again as Vice President Namadi Sambo travels by train through the South-South. The All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari defends donations to his campaign fund. And the Algerian army kills the country's main jihadist leader, Abdul Malik Guri.
On business news tonight, the federal government to encourage improved trade relations with other developing countries.
And on sports news, coach Manu Garba calls up Iheanacho and 8 other foreign-based players for the Flying Eagles final screening in Kaduna.
We begin tonight with breaking news of a very strong indication that over 100 army personnel are to be court-martialed soon. A senior military official told Channels Television this evening that the affected officers are to be tried for various offences in relation to the fight against insurgency in the northeast. The soldiers are said to have been transported from Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, to Abuja to face the charges, which have not been made known. This comes a week after 54 soldiers were sentenced to death by a firing squad for refusing to fight Boko Haram. When contacted, the Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Chris Olukolade, said there's nothing to worry about, as court-martial is a regular occurrence in the military. It's a tool for discipline, he says. Now, the National Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Industry has hinted that 2015 may be a rough year for the economy. According to the Deputy National President of the Association, Mr. Bassi Edem, the impact of economic pressure may be reduced only if politicians pay attention not only to the 2015 general elections. Our correspondent Bolaji Akinwale reports.
Officials of the National Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. They gathered to assess the economy for 2014. The Deputy National President of NASIMA, Mr. Bassi Edem, highlighted areas where the government's efforts at diversifying the economy yielded fruits.
The government actually did well in terms of trying to diversify the economy. The transformation agenda of Mr. President, he tried to make sure that infrastructures are put in place. Actually, it is the first time. I don't know of any other country that has privatized power. So it was a bold step to do that, agriculture. They've also taken a bold step to make sure that agriculture, they diversify into agriculture, particularly the key areas. We talked about the maize, where they insisted that the flour mills should take part of the maize to produce their flour.
The group, however, pointed out that the manufacturing sector still remains in comatose.
How manufacturing has featured in this year, sincerely speaking, is not the best of business to be in or sector to be in Nigeria especially. We know the challenges facing manufacturing in terms of power generation, in terms of cost of funds, in terms of competition from these Asian tigers and countries, and in terms of very poor other products that are not of good quality or standard when compared to locally made ones, are competing with you.
In 2014, the devaluation of the Naira by the Central Bank of Nigeria led to the local units to trade as high as 185 to the greenback. Interest rates to remain high for businesses as it hovers between 22% and 35%. Also, many businesses have had to pay for electricity bills without consuming any.
When you are not given electricity, you should not charge. The issue of estimated billing too is a way of cheating. You don't have anything like that. Everybody should be given is the game data.
Looking ahead, Nasima hinted that the economy for 2015 may pose some challenges for Nigerians.
Just like the federal government is trying to bear up on austerity measures, I think business also should bear up. It's going to be not an easy going year for us. So the first quarter is going to be rough, but I expect that after the first quarter, when people have been elected and they are we now know who is going to be where, they will go back and start looking at the economy.
As 2014 comes to a close, many say the time is now to begin to devise strategies that will absorb any form of economic shocks that may arise next year. Bolaji Akinwale for Channels Television News.
And despite Nasima's predictions, the federal government has indicated that the Nigerian economy is still on track. This much was said by Vice President Namadi Sambo at the flag-off ceremony of the Enugu-Port Harcourt-Enugu intercity train service in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. Our correspondent, Emmanuel Erei, reports.
The arrival of the Vice President Namadi Sambo signals the beginning of the flag-off ceremony of the Enugu-Port Harcourt-Enugu intercity train service at the premises of Port Harcourt train station. The event has a full complement of officials of the Federal Ministry of Transport led by the Minister Senator Idris Umar, the board chairman of the Nigerian Railway Corporation Alhaji Bamaga Tukur, political leaders and other guests. The Vice President says the event is another milestone in the transformation agenda of the federal government.
In this regard, government initiated and articulated a 25-year strategic plan for the railway development in Nigeria in order to resuscitate and revitalize the railway which has suffered neglect in the past 30 years.
The Minister of Transport informs the gathering that 90% of over 3,000 kilometers of railway tracks have been rehabilitated.
The track has been certified by the GIR, Government Inspector of Railways, and therefore it is fit for movement of train.
In 2012, train started running from Lagos to Kano. It was through the effort of the Shopee money. And so far, we have, from Shopee money, we have contributed 36.6 billion naira to the Nigerian Railway Corporation in vitalizing this railway line.
After the flag-off ceremony, the train proceeds to Enugu and makes a stopover at Imo River as the Vice President is received by a crowd of PDP supporters. An efficient transportation system, experts believe, promotes economic productivity. And a truly functional railway service in Nigeria will not only help in the movement of persons and goods, but will contribute significantly to the nation's economic prosperity. Emmanuel Erei, Channels Television News.
And the story is slightly different in Edo State, Benin City, where some youth have protested what they termed a failure of the Nigeria Petroleum Development Company to live up to their corporate social responsibility. The aggrieved youth marched to the gates of the company, disrupting the flow of traffic along Sapele Road. A similar protest had taken place 2 weeks ago, with the youth presenting a list of demands which the NPDC promised to look into.
Call it 1 week, one protest. This is the second for these protesting youth, and their demands: empowerment and job opportunities. This, they tell us, have met a brick wall twice.
Freedom come by struggle, by struggle. Freedom come.
Along this road, we see no reason why they should not develop that, why they should not construct that road. So we are asking them to construct that road and to give us maximum employment and empowerment.
For road users, this is one protest they hate to see, as the traffic gridlock is a pain they never bargained for. Pastor Isaiyamu as a prominent resident. He shows up with the managing director of NPDC in Edo State.
He has told them that work must be ready by early next year. I believe, say, if headquarters of NPDC, there will be permanent headquarters for here. There's no way they will not employ many of our youths. There's no way they will not get many of the contracts from there. There's no way Christmas will come. They now say it's what they want to do for the community. Now he tell me, say, make a follow and come, he go like to come address to them.
I will listen to all your grievances. I've heard it from 1 to 6, including Christmas. I will now have a meeting with my people, and we will pick 1 or 2 of you, call you, and we will talk about the issue, okay?
The police also helped to calm the youth.
You have to give the government time, but let me hear from them so that we can, all of you can now talk, and then we find an amicable settlement.
45 minutes later, an assurance obtained that the matter will be resolved.
And I want to assure all of you that between now and 5 o'clock we will get results.
Your issues have been looked into. I too, I will be here. I want to appeal that there should be no blocking of the road or any violence anywhere.
It is hoped that this assurance will surely hold, and not one that will see these youth troop out for another protest a third time.
In part 2, after the break, we flag off our assessment of the year's performance with the various sectors, beginning tonight with politics in 2014. That's in a moment. Please join us again.